Okay, Hagodvach. We're going to try to do a brief Chazara on Sugya Gimel. I think this will help you a lot in getting ready for the test and knowing it properly. So we're going to go over the Havana and we're going to go over the Bifnim. And when we do a Bifnim, it will be very helpful for yourself if you say it with, if you read quarterly together with, not quarterly, but if you read it together, it would help a lot. So let's go right ahead. In our Mishnah, we had a mafkid, someone who gives something to watch. We have a shomer who watches it. And we have the pikadon, which is the object that's being watched. Let's take, for example, if we have a balabayas. Right here we have a Mr. Balabayas, who's the mafkid. He's giving it to watch to the shomer, who is the guard. He's the farmer, he's the shepherd. He's watching the pikadon, the animal, the object that's being watched, the cow. And in the Mishnah, what happens? The cow gets stolen. And the shomer comes ahead and says, look, I'm not responsible because it was stolen and I'm a shomer chinam, I'm potter. But in order to become potter, I need to take a sefer Torah and make an oath that I wasn't negligent. Look, Mr. Balabayas, I don't want to take an oath. It's a very serious thing to say Hashem's name with an oath, with a shvua, it's very, I don't want it. You know what? I'll just pay you for it. I'll just pay you for the animal, and that's it. And then what happens is we find the ganav, lo and behold. And what happens to the ganav? The ganav needs to pay kefil. So now, who does he pay kefil to? Does he pay it to the balabayas, or does he pay it to the shomer? And the din in the Mishnah was that the shomer gets the kefil. Since the shomer paid for it, the shomer gets the kefil. Now, what our Gemara is going to be speaking about is, what if the shomer doesn't actually pay for it, but he says, I am going to pay? Does he get the kefil now, or he actually needs to pay? Let's go right ahead. Amar Rabbi Xiya bar Abba. Rabbi Xiya bar Abba said, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, in the name of Rabbi Yochanan, Loi Shilem. When it says in the Mishnah Shilem, it does not mean Loi Shilem. Shilem does not mean Shilem mamish, that he actually paid. Ella, rather, Keivan she'amar. Since he said Hareini Mishalem, I am going to pay. As soon as he says I'm going to pay, Afal Pisha Loi Shilem, even though he didn't pay, still he gets the kefil. He already gets the kefil. All you need to do is say I'm going to pay, and he already gets the kefil. And at the end of the day, you need to pay. But if the shomer said I am going to pay, like we see over here, Mr. Shomer over here, he says I want to pay. So already he gets the double. He gets the kefil. Now, the next step of the Gemara is going to analyze, does this fit with our Mishnah, or does this not fit with our Mishnah? And what the Gemara is going to determine is that it fits with part of the Mishnah, and it doesn't fit with the other part of the Mishnah. And then what are we going to do? So let's look inside. Tניין, we learned in our Mishnah, says our Gemara, Tניין, we learned in our Mishnah, Shilem, the Mishnah tells us, Shilem, if he paid, v'lo yirotz al yishava, and he does not want to swear. And the din in such a case is, if the shomer, if he pays and does not want to swear, then he gets the kefil. We learn from there, Shilem, if he pays yes, he gets the kefil. Loi Shilem, if he didn't actually pay, Loi, he does not get the kefil. From here, from this part of the Mishnah, where it says that he actually paid and he didn't want to swear, we learn out only if he actually pays. Shilem v'lo yirotz al yishava, if he pays and doesn't want to swear, the shomer paid and doesn't want to swear, then he gets the kefil. This is the reisha of the Mishnah. So we see from here, not like Rabbi Xiya bar Abba and Rabbi Yochanan, that if he just said I'm going to pay, he does not get the kefil. So now 1 second, frag the Gemara, Ema Seifa. Let's say the Seifa of the Mishnah, the end of the Mishnah, of our Mishnah, Nishba, if he swears, v'lo yirotz al yishava, he does not want to pay, what's the din over there? He does not get the kefil. Taima, the reason why he does not get the kefil, the lo yirotz, is because he does not want. Seifa the Mishnah says that the reason why he does not get kefil is because he doesn't want to pay. But Ratza, if he wants to pay, Afal Pisha Lo Shilem, even though he didn't pay, still he gets the kefil. So from here we learn The shomer swore and didn't want to pay, doesn't get the kefil. But if he wants to pay, he gets the kefil. So 1 second, which one is it? If he wants to pay, that means he said he's going to pay. He gets the kefil? Or only if he pays does he get the kefil? Which one is it? Ella, rather, says the Gemara concludes, Meha, from here, from our Mishnah, Leiko Lamashma, we cannot learn it out. We can't learn anything. Why? Because, again, we have the din from Rabbi Xiya, Barabba, Rabbi Yechanan, where the Reisha, it says that he pays, Shilem, and then he gets the kefil. But however, the Seifa says, Nishba he does not want to pay. He swears. Then he doesn't get the kefil. So which one is it? So the Gemara concludes with bringing a braisa. Tanya Kavasei the Rabbi Yochanan, we have a braisa that goes according to Rabbi Yochanan, and that is going to prove us that the din is like Rabbi Yochanan. What is this braisa? Hasoicher para mechaveiroi. Someone, if you have over here, Mr. Soicher, a renter who rents a cow from his friend, okay, and he stuffs it in his car. Maybe this is a car rental that also rents out cars. Kabak of car rental, kabak of cow rental. Okay, and he rents out a car. He rents a cow. The nignava, and it was stolen. The Amar Halo, and the other one said, meaning the Soicher said, Harini Meshalem, I am going to pay. See over here, he says loud and clear, I want to pay. The Eini Nishba, and I am not going to swear. The Achakach, and afterward, Nimtza Ganav, we find the Ganav, Meshalem Tashlume Kefal HaSoicher, the Ganav needs to pay a payment of double to the Soicher. And that proves, like Rabbi Yochanan, that if you say I want to pay, that is enough. You get the kefil. Let's learn this piece of the Gemara inside the actual Gemara. Shilem, here we have it highlighted with the Merkava. Follow along, and this time say it together. Shilem, if he paid v'lo yratza lishova, and he does not want to swear v'chulu, and etc. in the Mishnah. Amar Rabbi Xiya Barabba, Amar Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Xiya Barabba said in the name of Rabbi Yechanan, Loi Shilem. Shilem does not mean Shilem Mamish, that he actually paid. Ella, rather, what does it mean? Keivan she'amar, since he said, Hareini Mishalem, I am going to pay. Mishalem, afalpi sheloi Shilem, even though he didn't actually pay, still he already gets the kefil. Which means, if the shomer just says, I am going to pay, he already gets the kefil. Now, frag the Gemara, we're bringing the Mishnah. Our Mishnah is not going to work with Rabbi Yochanan because we cannot learn anything out from our Mishnah. So Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, Shilem, that the shomer paid v'lo yratza lishova, and he did not want to swear. What do we learn out from that? Shilem in, if he paid, he does get the kefil. Loi shilem loi, if he doesn't pay, he does not get the kefil. That means if the shomer says, I want to pay, he does not get kefil. And the Gemara, 1 second, the Gemara says, Ema Seifa, 1 second, say the Seifa of the Mishnah, learn the end of the Mishnah. If Nishba, if the shomer swears, v'lo yratza l'shalom, and he does not want to pay, then the din is he gets the kefil. Why? Taima, the reason why he gets the kefil, the lo yratza, is because he did not want to pay. Haratza, however, if he wants to pay, afalpi, even though shaloi shilem, he did not pay. If he only said I was going to pay, and he wants to pay, then he gets the kefil. So the Gemara concludes, Ella rather, meha, from here, leika lamashma, we cannot learn out from it. So from our Mishnah, from this whole Mishnah, we cannot learn either way, because from one side we learn one way, from one side we learn another way. I'm sorry, we can't do anything with this Mishnah. Says the Gemara now brings a proof. Tanya Kava say that Rabbi Yochanan. We learned a Braisa according to Rabbi Yochanan. Hasoicher para mechaveiroi, one who rents a cow from his friend. The nignava, and it was stolen. The Omar Halo, and the other one said, Hareini Meshalem, I am going to pay. The Eini Nishba, and I am not going to swear. Ve'achar kach nimtza ganev, and afterwards we find the ganev. Mishalem tashlomei kefel hasoicher. The ganev needs to pay payments of double to the soicher. So that means that if the soicher or any other shomer says, I want to pay, he gets the kefel. Now let's continue on. To the din of Rava. But before we go on to the din of Rava, let's remember, let's get clear. Each shomer, what can they be chayav on? A shomer chinam. What can a shomer chinam be chayav on? Shomer chinam can be chayav on shiur. If a shomer, meaning if an unpaid watchman is negligent, he is going to be culpable. He's going to be chayav. I'm sorry, you didn't watch it properly. You were negligent. How about a shomer sachar? A paid watchman, he needs to be a little bit more responsible. And if it gets lost or stolen, even if it's not his fault, still he needs to pay. He's going to be chayiv if the pikadon, if the item was lost or stolen, he's going to be chayiv. How about a soicher? Same as a shomer sachar. A renter has the same din as a paid watchman. That if the animal is stolen or lost, then the soicher needs to pay, the renter needs to pay. And last, a shoyel, a borrower, is chayiv on everything. The only thing that he might not be chayiv on is if he borrowed something and it broke or it died because of using it. For example, if I rent a car to drive from New York to New Jersey, and I fill out on the form that I'm driving to New Jersey, and they give me a car, and it doesn't even make it to the Holland Tunnel. It doesn't make it. Now I am not chayav. You know why? Because the car rental knew that I was taking the car to New Jersey. If they knew that the car wasn't able to make it to New Jersey, they should have told me. And since they didn't tell me, and I took it, and it broke down, I'm sorry, Mr. Car Renter, I am not chayav. Now, let's talk about our case now. If you have the balabayas, the mafkid, the person who gives the cow, you have the shomer, the person watching the cow, and then you have the cow itself, the pikadon, and the cow is stolen. So what happens now? The shomer pays the balabayas. He gives money to the balabayas. What happens now is that the balabayas gives owner the rights, so to say, of the cow to the shomer. And now, if the ganev gives kefil, who's it going to go to? He's going to give it to the shomer because the shomer owns the cow right now. The question is, what we're going to analyze is why? Why is the balabayas giving over the rights to the shomer when the shomer pays for it? And why is he giving over the double? Why is the owner being makna, the kefil, to the shomer? That's what our Gemara now is going to be analyzing. Says the Gemara, Amar Papa, the Papa said, Shomer Chinam, an unpaid watchman, Keivan She'amar, since he said Pashati, I was negligent, and thereby he makes himself chayiv, because a pshia, a Shomer Chinam, this Mr. Shomer Chinam over here, since once he says, I was negligent, and therefore I am chayiv. Once he makes himself chayiv, he gets the kefil. Makne lek fela. He is kinda the kefil. Why? The boy, because if he wants, potar nafshei, he can make himself potter, bigneva, with claiming that it was stolen. Because the shomer could have gotten away and be potter, but he cooperated. He said, I was negligent, and I am chayiv, and I'm going to pay. Therefore, the owner is very grateful to the Shaimar for being cooperative, and the owner will tell the Shaimar, Mr. Shaimar, you can have the kefil. Next case, how about a Shomer Sachar? Shomer Sachar, a paid watchman, keivan she'amar, since he said Nignava was stolen. Is this Mr. Shomer Sachar over here says the animal was stolen, and therefore I am chayiv, and he's cooperating. He says I'm going to pay. He gets the kefil. Makne Lake Fela, he acquires the kefil. Why? The e-boy, because if he wants, patar nafshei, he can make himself patar b'shvuro mesa, with claiming that it broke its bones or it died naturally, which in such a case this Shomer Sachar would have been patar. He could have got away with it. So since he's being honest, he's cooperating, and he is going to pay, the owner is very grateful to him and says, Mr. Shomer Sachar, you know what? You're cooperating. I'll be makna to you the kefil. As a courtesy, as a thank you, I'll say, you could get the kefil. Now, we move on to the next category, a shoyel, someone that borrows something. And over here, we're going to have two versions. Shoyel, a borrower. So we have over here Mr. Borrower. And a borrower, as we said, is chayiv on everything. You're just using it. You're responsible for everything. Whatever happens, you're always going to be chayiv. And therefore, a shoyel who says, shoyel who says, Hareini Mishalem, I am going to pay, says Rav Papa, loy makni leik felo, he does not acquire the kefil. Why? Because b'mai havalei lemiftar nafshei. With what could he make himself potter? With what could he get away? He can't get away with anything. There's nothing that would make him exempt from paying. He has to pay anyway. So in this case, the balabais is not going to say, you know what, you're so nice, you're being cooperative, and you're paying, you're not trying to get out of it, I'm not going to do the kefil. Over here, you can't say that. The balabais, the shoyel needs to pay. So, but 1 second, wasn't there one thing that the shoyel could get away with? Mesa machmas malacha, that died because of the work. So, for the Gemara, 1 second, b'meisa machmas malacha, the shoyel could have claimed that it died because of work. The Gemara answers, I'm sorry, no. Mesa machmas malacha is not common. Mesa machmas malacha loy shchiach. Mesa machmas malacha, dying because of work, is very not common. And therefore, we're not going to rely that the shomer could have gotten away with saying that it died because of work, and because he's being cooperative, that's why the owner is going to say, Mr. Shoyel, you can have the kefil. No. It's very not common. And we are not relying that the shoyel could have gotten away with saying that Mesa Machmas Malacha. No, it's not common. We said that there was going to be a second version, right? Ika de Amri, says the Gemara. Ika de Amri, there are those who say, Amar Rav Papa said, a shoyel, Mr. Shoyel over here, shoyel nami, a shoyel also. Keivan she'amar, since he said, Hareini Mishalem, since he said, I am going to pay, makne leik fela, he acquires the kefil. Why? The e-boy, because if he wants, patar nafshei, he can make himself patar, b'meisa machmas malacha, with claiming that it died because of work. This is just a whole other version right now. According to this second version, Rav Papa says that a shoyel does get kefil. Why? Because he could get away with saying that it died because of work. And but what did he? He's paying for it. Oh, he's paying for it. You know what? You're cooperating. Okay, you know what? You'll get the kefil. Let's read this inside the Gemara now. Amar Rav Papa says, Shoy merchinam, an unpaid watchman, and again, say it together with, and if you're able to look inside your own Gemara, pause the video, get your own Gemara, and look inside. That would be a lot more helpful than looking at the Merkava, because the Merkava is a little bit of a too much of training wheels, and you're not going to get used to riding the bike by yourself. We spoke about this in class many times, but try to get your own Gemara and look inside your own Gemara to see, to get a real practice. and know it really well. If you need to pause the video, and let's begin. Shomer chinam, a unpaid watchman. Keivan she'amar pashati, since he said, I was negligent, makne leik fela, he acquires the kefil. Why? Why does he acquire the kefil? He's chayiv anyway. The e-boy, because if he wants, potar nafshe, he can make himself potar, bigneva, with saying that it was stolen. Since he could have gotten away with it, but he was cooperative, and he was honest, and he said, I'm going to pay because I was negligent, the balabais is courteous to him, and is makna to him the kefil. Shomer sachar, a paid watchman. Keivan she'amar, since he said, nigneva, it was stolen. Makne leik fela, the owner is makne to him the kefil. The e-boy, because if he wants, potar nafshe, he could make himself potar. Bishvura umesa, with claiming that it was oines, it was uncontrollable, it died naturally, or broke its bones naturally. He could have gotten away with being potar, but he was cooperative, and he said, I am responsible, I am going to pay. The balabais is courteous to him. Balabai says, you know what? If we find the ganav, you will get the kefil. However, a shoyol, and now this is the first version. Shoyol she'omer, a shoyol who says, Hareini Mishalem, I am going to pay. Loy makne leik fela. He does not get the kefil. Why? Because b'mai, with what havale is there to him, lemiftar nafshe, to make himself potter. The Gemara challenges 1 second. Hey, what about b'meisa machmas malacha? What about he could get away with saying that it died because of work? And for the Gemara, meisa machmas malacha lo shchiach. The dying because of work is not very common. Now we go on to the second version of Rav Papa. Ikad Amri, there are those who say, Amar Rav Papa said, Shoyol Nami, even a shoyol also, Keivan she'amar hareini mishalem, since he said, I am going to pay, makne leik fela, he acquires the kefil. The e-boy, because if he wants, potar nafshe, he could make himself potar, with claiming b'meisa machmas malacha, that died because of work. Good. Now we're ready to go on to the intense shaklavataria, the back and forth, regarding the second version of Rava, to find out if the second version of Rava is authentic or not so authentic, or not so good, not so accurate. Omar le Rav Zvid. Rav Zvid said to Rav Papa, Hachi Omar Abaya. This is what Abaya said. Shoyol. Okay, again, we had the first version of Rav Papa that says that a shoyol, a shomer, does not get kefil, and the second version of Rav Papa that a shoyol does get the kefil. Now, Rav Zvid is going to come and say Abaya had a reason for the first version of Rav Papa, why the shoyol does not get kefil. Why? Again, Omar le Rav Zvid said to him, to Rav Papa, Hachi Omar Abaya, this is what Abaya said. Shoyol, a shoyol, ad sheyishalom, until he actually pays. He does not get kefil until he actually pays. So if the shoyol just says, I am going to pay, he says, I want to pay, I am sorry, you do not get kefil. Why? My time of the Gemara, what's the reason? Because all the benefit is the shoyol's, as Rashi explains. He takes Mr. Shoyol, he takes the owner's cow, he does his work with it, and he gives it back. Is he paying for maintenance? No. Is he paying for storage? No. Is he paying for anything? No. Is he paying to use it? No. He's totally benefiting. That's a shoyol. A borrower, he gets it, and he just benefits. So you are fully responsible, and not only that, if anything happens, you actually need to pay. If you don't actually pay, and we find that if you don't actually pay, and we find the ganim, I am sorry, Mr. Shoyol, you are not getting the kefil. Because, the Gemara continues, b'dibura, with just saying I am going to pay, loy makne leik fela. You do not acquire the kefil. I'm sorry. And now, not only that, the Gemara will bring a raya, a proof, from a brisa according to Rav Zvid. Tanya kavasei de Rav Zvid. This is the din of Rav Zvid, a shoyel who says, I want to pay. He does not get the kefil. Why? Because kol ana shaloi, all the benefit is his. Says the Gemara, we have a brisa thumbing up, proving Rav Zvid. Tanya kavasei de Rav Zvid. We have a brisa according to Rav Zvid. What does the brisa say? Let's read it in the big. Hashoyo paramechaveiroi, one who borrows a cow from his friend, the nignava, and it was stolen. The kidem hashoyo, and the shoyel came forth first. The kidem, he came first, he came early. The shilem, and he paid. The acharkach, and afterwards, nimtzo haganev, we found the ganev. The din is mishalem tashlume kefil. He needs to pay the payment of kefil. The ganev needs to pay kefil la shoyel to the shoyel. Now let's analyze. Let's analyze. The shoyel, the brisa says that the shoyel came forth first and paid. That means the shoyel needs to actually pay in order to get the kefil. That means if the shoyel just says, he does not get kefil. That's a raya like Rab Zvid, that if the shoyel says, I want to pay, he does not get the kefil. Amazing! Rav Zvid has a brisa that backs him up, that proves his point. Okay. Now, the Gemara challenges the different versions of Rav Papa based on this brisa. Let's see. Does this brisa work with the different versions of Rav Papa or not so much? Let's see. According to the first lashon, which says that the shoyel does not get the kefil, well, that fits because the brisa says if he actually pays, then he gets the kefil. So, but according to the second version, that the shoyel does get the kefil, I'm sorry, that doesn't work because again, the brisa says v'kidem hashoyel v'shilem. The shilem came forth first and paid. That means he actually needs to pay in order to get the kefil. Not if he just said that he's going to pay. Let's read it inside the Gemara. Lishna kama, according to the first version of the Rav Papa, vadai for sure, lo yhavei tiyuvta. It won't be a question. The first version of Rav Papa, which says that the shoyel who says I am going to pay does not get the kefil, that works very well. Thumbs up. But Lishna Basra, according to the second version of Rav Papa, Lema, let's say, Tahave Tiyuvta, it will be a kasha, a question, a challenge, because the second version of Rav Papa says that a shoyel who says, I am going to pay, gets the kefil, and the brisa says he needs to actually pay in order to get the kefil. Now, where are we holding? Let's go through the Shakavatariya. And just a heads up, I'm recording this on Erev Shabbos. It's ready after Lichtention, and my apologies. And I'm going to try to finish this a little bit quicker than I expected. So I'm going to go at a quicker pace. Please try to halt cup. Put on your focusing caps because we are going to go very fast. And if you need to slow down the video, please do so. I really want you to succeed. I really want you to know it well. So let's go through the Shakavatariya. The second version of Rav Papa, as we see here, it says that a shoyel who says I'm going to pay, does not get kefil. Sorry, gets kefil. Shoyel says I'll pay, he gets kefil. The kasha on that is from the brisa, that the brisa says kidem hashoyel v'shilem, the shoyel came forth first and paid. That means only if he pays he gets a kefil. So, and for the Gemara, Rav Papa would be able to tell you, meaning Rav Papa is not here right now, but he would be able to answer you. He would answer you with a question. One second. Our Mishnah, our very Mishnah, in the beginning of our parak, said, Shilem, that the shoymer paid. And what does it mean? We already established from Rabbi Yeshiva in the beginning of the Sugya that Shilem means only he said. He said he was going to pay. So one second. Is that stronger than the Mishnah? Is that stronger than the Brisa? Is our Mishnah, less accurate than the Braisa? If anything, the opposite. Braisas are usually less accurate than the Mishnah. So if the Mishnah says Shilem, and it means, not literally, but it means that he said he was going to pay, for sure our Braisa, when the Braisa says Shilem, that he paid, for sure it means that he said he was going to pay. Let's read it inside. The Papa would be able to tell you, is this Braisa stronger? Is it stronger than the Mishnah? The Katani that says Shilem, that he paid, the Ukmina, and we establish it, but Amar, that he said. Over here in the Mishnah, we said that Shilem means that he said he was going to pay. Hachanami, over here also in the Braisa, but Amar means that he said he was going to pay. So where are we holding in the Shakvataya? We had the second version of Rav Papa that says, a shoyl that says I'm going to pay does get kefil, right? But we had a kasha on that from the Braisa that Kidam HaShoyl V'Shilem, and the shoyl came first and paid, which means only if he pays he gets the kefil. The answer to that is answering with a question. That's why it's red and green, as you see. Yeah, is answering with a question. Is it stronger than the Mishnah? The Mishnah said Shilem, and it means when he said. So also over here, Shoyl said, I'll pay, that's kefil. But one second. Can you compare the Mishnah and the Braisa? Are they the same? Are they the same wording? Seriously? They're very different. Because the Mishnah says Shilem, that he paid, and the Braisa says Kidem v'Shilem, that he came first and paid. Kidem, they came first, v'Shilem, and paid, means that he actually paid. Not that he said. Frag the Gemara, mi dummy, is this similar? Hosam over there in the Mishnah, loy katani kidem, it does not say kidem. They came first. Hach over here in the Braisa, katani it says, kidem, they came first. And for the Gemara, my kidem, what does it mean? They came first. Kidem v'amar, they came first and said he was going to pay. So it's fine. Where are we holding in the Gemara? The second version of Rav Papa again is that a shoyl who says I'm going to pay gets kefil. Shoyl said, the bottom of the line is shoyl says I'll pay, gets kefil. Kasha from the Braisa is it says, the Braisa says that the shoyl came first. Kidem HaShoyl v'Shilem. Only if he gets it, only if he pays, he gets the kefil. The answer to that is it stronger than the Mishnah? The Mishnah says Shilem, and it means said. So it's over here, it means said. So the bottom of the line is shoyl says I'll pay, gets kefil. The kasha to that is, but in the Braisa it says kidem, and our Mishnah doesn't say kidem, which implies only if he pays he gets kefil. The Gemara answers to that. What does it mean, kidem? What does the Braisa mean, kidem? Kidem v'amar, they comes first and says. So the bottom of the line right now is shoyl says I'll pay, gets kefil, which that is in line with the Lishna Basra. It works very well so far. Everything works out. But now the Gemara goes further another step and challenges it even more. Ha-dach midikatani, from the fact that it says gabe soicher baya soicher. You remember earlier we had you remember that car driver with the cow inside the car? You remember that soicher? You remember that Braisa with the soicher over there? You know what it said in that Braisa? The katani, from the fact that it says gabe soicher from baya soicher, the omar, from the fact that it says the omar over there, the gabe shoyel and baya shoyel, it says kidem, that he actually came first and paid. Shmamina, it sounds from this davka katani, that says it specifically. When it says kidem, let's go to the slideshow a little bit. When it says kidem over here, you can't say it means the kidem v'amar. I'm sorry, mister. You cannot say that it means that he came first and said. You know why? Because I have a Braisa that says very clearly v'amar. You're going to tell me that the kidem means v'amar? I'm sorry. You cannot say that when the Braisa says two different languages, it means the same thing. No, one language means one thing, one language means another thing. Can't say that they mean the same thing. Let's read that again inside. Ha-dach midikatani, from the fact that it says gabe soicher baya soicher v'omar, it says v'omar, that he said he was going to pay. And the gabe shoyel and baya shoyel, it says kidem, that he came first and paid. Shma mina, it sounds from this. Dafka katani, that it says it specifically. So you know the Gemara answers to that? Midi, is it gabe hadadi tanan? By each other they were learned. Were these two braisas learned together? It could be that one braisa was learned over here, and they used this language, and this braisa was learned over here, and it means another language. But really, they mean the same thing. They use different languages, but they mean the same thing. And the kidem really means that kidem and said came first and said. So where are we holding the shakvatariya? The Lishnabad, the second version of Rav Papa says that the shoyl that says I'm going to pay is kind of the kefil. Shoyl says I'll pay. That's kefil. The kasha from the Brisa is that the Brisa says kidem hashoyl v'shilim, they came forth and paid. Only if he pays, he gets the kefil. The answer to that is it stronger than the Mishnah? The Mishnah says shilem, and it means he said. That means a shoyl said I'll pay, gets kefil. The kasha on that is, the shlug up to that is, but in the Brisa it says kidem. That means only if he actually pays, he gets kefil. The answer to that is, what does it mean? Kidem. It means kidem v'amar, they came forth first and said, which means a shoyl says I'll pay, he gets a kefil. But one second, hey, by the soicher it says v'amar, and by the shoyl it says v'kidem. You can't say they mean the same thing. You can't say amar and kidem mean the same thing. They're two different languages. And which the bottom of the line for that is, only if he pays, he gets kefil. And for the Gemara to that, one second, hey, again, answering with a question, like a real Jew. Red and then green. Were they learned together? Which would mean that only that a shoyl who pays gets the kefil. The bottom of the line over there would be, shoyl says I'll pay, gets kefil. So you know what happened? Shailinu, they asked, Letanoi, to the students, the Beit Rabbi Chiya, the Beit Rabbi Yeshiva, that learned in the base medrash of Rabbi Chiya and Rabbi Yeshiva. What was special about the students of Rabbi Chiya and Rabbi Yeshiva? The Gemara says elsewhere in Maseches Chulin that any braisa that was not taught in the base medrash of Rabbi Chiya and Rabbi Yeshiva, you should not mention it. You know why? Because it's not accurate. The Mishnah was very organized and was written very accurately. The braisas were not written down so accurately, but in the base medrash of Rabbi Chiya and Rabbi Yeshiva, they were very, very fluent in the braisas, and they knew what was an accurate braisa and what was not an accurate braisa. So they asked the students of Rabbi Chiya and Rabbi Yeshiva, and they asked them, were these two braisas learned together or not? The Amri, and they said, Gabe Hadadi Taran, they were learned together. They asked, were they learned together? And the answer was that the braisa of the soicher that says he said he was going to pay, and the braisa of the shoyl that actually paid were learned together in the same document, the same shtar, in the same braisa. And therefore, when the braisa says kidem, it means literally he came forth first and actually paid. Where are we holding in the braisa? And I have very few minutes left, so let's hurry up. Please don't try this at home. The second version of Rav Papa was that a shoyl who says, I'm going to pay, gets the kefil. Again, shoyl says, I'll pay, gets kefil. The kasha to that was from the Brisa, that the Brisa says, the shoyl actually pays. Only if he actually pays, kidem hashoyl v'shilim, he gets the kefil. Only if he pays, he gets kefil. The kasha to the answer to that is, one second, is it stronger than the Mishnah? The Mishnah says, shilem, and it means, said he was going to pay, which the bottom of the line is, shoyl says, I'm going to pay, gets kefil. The kasha on that is, one second, in the Brisa, it doesn't say kidem. Sorry, in the Brisa, it says kidem. They actually came first. The Mishnah doesn't say that. That means only if he pays, he gets the kefil. Answer to the Gemara is, what does it mean? Kidem, what does it mean that he came first? Kidem Amar, they came first and said. Which the bottom of the line is, shoyl says, I'll pay, gets kefil. Gemara challenges that. One second. Hey, you can't say kidem is the same thing as the Amar. You know why? Because the earlier by a soicher, the Brisa says v'amar, and by a shoyl it says v'kidem. These are two different languages. You can't say this. You can't say they mean the same thing. Which the bottom of the line is, only if he pays, he gets the kefil. And for the Gemara, one second, they weren't learned together, so they were learned separately, and there were two different languages, but they mean the same thing. Which the bottom of the line is, a shoyl who says I'm going to pay gets kefil. The Gemara answers to all that. They were I'm sorry. They were learned together. Gabi Adadi Tניין, they were learned together, and therefore we are left with a kasha. If they're lishna barasa, we are left with a kasha on the second version, and all that we have left is the first version of Rav Papa. Only if he pays, only if the shayl pays, he gets the kefir. I will not have time to learn it inside, and therefore we're going to conclude over here. Agut gebench the yard.